Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Simplay Motorsport. We are live here for the next round of the season, the penultimate round of the season here, rounds 15 and 16 at Laguna Seca here in the United States of America. I'm Dan Davis and bringing you the action here at the pro categories. No PN joining me at the minute. He might do for race 2, but it's just me possibly for the rest of the evening. But let's hear you guys in the chat. Currently a poll out if you want to say if you're ready for some racing here tonight. We've got quite a quiet one here this evening at Laguna Seca. Currently only 9 cars here tonight, and but if anything, it was like anything last night, we should have some great racing even though we have a smaller crowd here this evening. But either way, we are here at Laguna Seca for the next round of the season, and what an iconic circuit we come to. Multiple circuits in America, but this probably stands out to one of the most well-known circuits in America. You've obviously got the likes of Long Beach and Daytona and also Road America, but we are here at Laguna Seca with the famous corkscrew, as a lot of these guys will be putting themselves under a lot of challenges here tonight. A lot of high curbs in the inside of corners, a lot of elevation changes, as well as the corkscrew is the biggest challenge, as we see Shane coming up towards the corkscrew now. But first things first, I want to say a massive congratulations. Obviously last time out Ripper had won the championship, and he pretty much has to just cruise all the way home now, but he does have to finish the season off winning the constructors. Sadly no Killer Camel at the minute. We get information that he has broken down and has got a flat tire, but sadly he's either not going to make the entire night or he just might make race 1. Either way, there's still a hot fight for the championship behind. Matahimovic is in second place, and with no breeze here this evening either, he is looking to try and make sure he holds on to that second place in the championship. His next closest rival is Peaceful Explosion in P4, who's also trying to stay ahead of Green Wolfinator, who's 2 points behind him. Relatively close between those two. Fury not here at the moment, nor is Nexus, and neither of them will score points. Fury might possibly turn up a little bit later on. We're not 100% sure, but hopefully we will see Fury later on. Killer Camel, as we said, he's currently at level 1 points with Overtaker and Emperava, but all 3 of them on 182 points. But Emperava and Overtaker are here to score points, and hopefully Overtaker can get himself higher up the grid. Obviously with no Nexus and no Fury at the minute, there's definitely a high chance he can get himself into the top 6, as can Emperava. A little further back behind is Shane in P11 with Gary 131 in 12th. With Benno sitting in 13th place position. 14th will be De Silva, and I think he's probably much going to finish there this season, although he's sadly pulled out of the championship. Euro currently in 15th place position with T sitting in 16th. Hitman sitting in 17th. 18th is David, and bringing up the rear is F1 Billow. The main fight is now in the Constructors' Championship. It is Killer Performance Motorsport still leading the way. They just need to outscore Simplay Racing by 40 points and they are Constructors' Champion. But obviously with just Ripper on his own, it is going to be a struggle. But Simplay Racing, the drivers of Peaceful Explosion and Emperava have still got a chance of winning the Constructors, as does the Jaeger Motorsport boys of Gary 131 and Matahimovic. So both teams are still up for the championship, and they've only got to beat Ripper at the minute, as they are going to be fighting for that one. Teletubby Motorsport at the minute with just Jane is currently P4. Fury obviously not here at the minute. With P5 is JWB Esports Racing 2, and P6 is JWB Esports 1, and then Button Bashers Racing bringing up the rear. Can Overtaker get past the 2 in front just before the end of the season? McLaren have won the championship in the manufacturers with Bentley in second. Ferrari is in third at the minute, with Porsche and Lexus going at it for the 4th and 5th place position. 6th is Honda, 7th is Aston Martin, 8th is the Audi, and 9th is BMW. 10th is Mercedes, 11th is Nissan, with 12th the Retia, and 13th is the Lamborghini. Bringing up the rear is the Jaguar. That is your championship standings at the minute. And regarding drivers at the minute, we've obviously, like I said, a little bit low on drivers here this evening, but it's not going to dampen our spirits. We're still going to have a fantastic night's worth of racing, and it's going to be close for sure. So if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified miss a single thing here at Simplay Motorsport. Regarding the grid tonight, obviously the way tonight works is these guys are currently in a practice session, and right now Overtaker is leading away on a 23-4. We did have a quiet lull where there was no cars on track, but all of them seem to be out on track now. But regarding the grid order and the tonight's schedule, the guys are currently doing a free practice. This has been going on for an hour and 15 minutes. They will get their cars dialed in and set up for the rest of the night. Whether if it's race fuel or qualifying fuel or just messing around with the tyres, make sure the pressures and all are correct. This is what they use their practice session for. We will then go into a 1-minute qualifying session. The guys can go out, but it's kind of pointless, because it is more likely for me to change the camera so we are able to check on the driver that we want to race with. Then they'll go into a 30-minute race where they will have to do a pit stop. The pit stop requires them to change the tyres once. It's a mandatory pit stop and a mandatory tyre change. Fuel, they have to fuel the cars till the very end, as they don't want to run out of fuel. Refueling is disallowed, just like in modern F1 times. And that is race 1. Obviously, race 1 is based off reverse grid of the championship, and I will run through that order in a moment's time. Then they'll go into another small 10-minute practice. This is just a little comfort break for the guys, so they can go to get a snack or whatever, or get a drink to get themselves prepped and ready for the next qualifying session, which will be a 15-minute qualifying session where they can go all out, set the car up as fast as they can, and try and set the best lap around here at Laguna Seca. And then they will go into another 30-minute race based off the qualifying result. And again, they will have one mandatory tyre change and no fuel change as well. Regarding, obviously, tonight, it is all about can Killer Performance win the Constructors, or is the likes of Simplay Racing and others going to stop him? Jaeger Motorsport as well in the hunt for this one. At the minute, Jaeger Motorsport haven't set a lap time. That is Matahimovic and Gary131. A little bit of knowledge into practice. Matahimovic actually has been struggling with a little bit of setup wise in the Bentley, but nonetheless, this is what the practice session is for. Dialing in and tweaking out. Maybe Gary131 might have some pace tonight, as the Porsche took a win, not just in the Am category, but also in the Pro-Am with Keegs and Ginger Bush both winning in the Porsche. What can Gary do in the Porsche tonight? That is the question. Currently, Matahimovic, the only one not yet to set a lap time. Can he dial that Bentley in and catch up with the guys in front? We then move to Shane, the other Teletubby Motorsport driver in the Lexus, and just getting some confirmation and news from him that he's struggling with the car, and he's starting to feel like he's not enjoying the front engine cars, and is looking forward to possibly going back to a rear or a mid-engine car. But what can he do? He's 7th in the minute. Not a lot of drivers here at the minute. He can definitely score some decent points and hopefully have a good race like he did at Zandvoort. Emprava, one of the Simplay Racing boys, at the minute in a good position to score some decent points for his teammate as well, Peaceful, so they can try and take the fight to Killer Performance. Obviously, Ripper is going to be wanting to win every single race so that he can make sure he gets that chance to win the championship. What can Emprava do? Can he help Mike out, especially in the reverse grid? Can he then try and hold Ripper up so that the others can work their way through the order? Who knows? Wolfinator, he's in that scrap between Matahimovic, Breeze, and a few others as well, where they are looking to try and get that second place in the championship. Matt has got a decent gap at the minute, but it is going to take something horrendous for him to lose his second place. With no Breeze tonight, Green Wolfinator and Peaceful are still in this. Can they stop Matt from winning, taking that second place in the championship? Regarding Ripper, his main goal tonight is just score points for his team. With no Killer Camel here tonight, and obviously due to the sad circumstances of with no tyre on his car at the minute, he's got a lot of work to do on his own. He is currently following another car of Matahimovic, and sometimes it's useful for the guys to follow another car, learn what the car does in dirty air, and that's probably what Ripper is testing here now. We then move on to Peaceful Explosion, who's looking to try and get that second in the championship, at least third in the championship. He is behind Breeze at the minute and Matt, but if Matt has a bad night and Breeze obviously not turning up here this evening, there is an opportunity that Mike could score some decent points and work his way slowly up into the second in the championship, which obviously we weren't expecting this season, and I don't think he was either, but he is still mathematically in that fight. And then we got Benno, who's been struggling to make most races this season, but he is here tonight, and he's looking very good in the Bentley. The better Bentley at the minute between Matt and himself. Matt currently P6 at the minute. So the Bentley in Benno's hand is looking very strong. He's currently only 2/10 off the back of Overtaker in that McLaren. So far, the only McLaren that's looked quite stable around here. The McLaren in the last few nights has not looked like the best car to be in. But at the minute, Benno sits in that P2 position. But top of the session at this precise minute is Overtaker in the number 14, the Button Bashers driver. Can he get himself further up in the championship regarding the drivers and the constructors? That is the question. Or is he just going to try and finish the season on a high and try and get some wins? We should expect this McLaren to be very strong at the Hungaroring, but who knows for the final round of the season. At the minute though, there's only a couple of guys out on track, and let's discuss this amazing circuit around here. We've got Gary 131, he's had a moment in penultimate corner, just touching the curb, and the rear just losing grip there, as we will take a lap with Emplava around this fantastic circuit here at Laguna Seca. So first things first, it's all about setting up yourself into the final corner and making sure you get a good exit so you can start your lap as you head over towards the start finish line over the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca banner, and then heading towards turn 1 and into a heavy braking zone, which you could double apex it or keep it tight to the inside, as Emplava chooses to double apex it, hit that second curb as he goes through Andretti hairpin, but he's had a wiggle and he has gone off. So that's not really helped my track guide here at Laguna Seca. So we will wait for the next car to come round. We'll go with Wolfinator as he's exiting the pits. This is tricky, obviously. They can touch the first white line, but they can't cross over to the second white line. As they now exit the pit lane, he goes into Andretti corner, or hairpin as it's called, Andretti hairpin, and then into turn 3, a very tricky turn 3. There's a sausage curb on the inside that you do not want to clobber too hard, but Wolfinator on an outlet, just taking it a little bit easy. Turn 4, you think you can take a lot more speed than you actually can in there, and you can easily set the car off wide and into the gravel, and then possibly into a wall, so he's got to be cautious of that one. Then into a slightly banked turn 5. As Wolfinator, as you can see, the bank, you can go around the outside and hold your line as best you can, but it's very difficult to keep the position. As he then heads up to the difficult turn 6. As he goes up to Rahal Straits, as they go up the hill towards the most famous corner here, and it is the corkscrew, going into 7, then into 8, and then 8A. It's a massive drop. The cars in some cases are going to really hate the bottoming out, especially this McLaren, as he then slingshots into Rainy Curve, turn 9, and try and get a good exit through there. So then it slingshots him into turn 10. Another slightly banked corner coming down here. It was very tricky to get the braking wrong and wrong wide. And then into the final corner. And once again, Wolfinator just setting himself up for a lap here. For turn 11, he makes sure he gets a good exit and then heads towards turn 1. And that is a lap of Laguna Seca. Some iconic circuit, iconic corners around here. As we see Ben in the chat. Nice to hear from you, Ben. And I hope you're enjoying your holiday. He's currently not able to race on holiday. That's why you didn't hear him last night. And I hope you are doing well, buddy. So right now, Wolfinator currently on a lap time. So the question is now, are they now looking to try and make a few changes and tweaks to their car? So the corkscrew, a little fun fact for you about the corkscrew, it drops about 59 feet between the entrance of turn 8 and the exit of turn 8A, obviously the second part of the corner, and it's a 5.5 story drop. And only 450 feet of track length, so it's a hefty corner around here, as Wolfinator has had a moment. As we will go on board with Gary 131, as we haven't seen him quite this often this season, and it's nice to see Gary on track in the Porsche. Can he continue what the Porsche drivers have been doing all week so far? They've looked like the strongest car around Laguna Seca. We obviously had a Porsche win in AM, Porsche win in the first race of Pro-Am, and then a BMW win in the second race. What can Gary do in the Porsche tonight? Are we going to see another manufacturer win tonight? We've got, at the minute, 4 manufacturers in the top 4, with McLaren, Bentley, Honda and Audi in that top 4. So it's a very close pack at the top. Ripper all the way up to Overtaker is only separated by 3/10. So it's very, very close indeed between those guys. So currently 2.5 minutes left of the session. And what a fantastic season we've had here at Simplay Motorsport. We have seen some phenomenal driving from a lot of these drivers. Let's go and have a look at each driver and see what their season has been like. Let's start at, as Gary's had a big moment over the curb there and runs off a little wide. Let's start with overtaking this season. Obviously not being able to make every round this season. Obviously his best result is a first place at Brands Hatch, and was his best round as well. He took a win and a second place, so Brands really helped him out there. But he has only been on the podium 5 times this season, so he was there for Catalonia twice, once at Zolder and twice at Brands Hatch, and that's obviously put him in a situation he's in. He's missed a couple rounds as well, so sitting P9 in the championship. Overtaker, obviously next season we'll want to finish the season on a better high. Benno, let's have a look at how his season's been going. He's missed a couple races. He's missed the last 2 races of Zandvoort and Silverstone, but he has had some decent rounds. Kyle Army was his best round, 2 second places there, and he has been on the podium 4 times this season, so his best result has been a second. Not a win yet, but Kyle Army was definitely his best round, scoring his best points. Then we head to Peaceful Explosion, currently sitting in the championship for that second place. Currently a little bit off the top guys at the minute, but he's still mathematically in it. And because of his 4th place and turning up to every single round and scoring some decent points, it has put him in this championship fight. His best round probably was at Zandvoort, where, sorry, no, it was not Zandvoort. His best round was actually at Spa. So Spa was his best round. He took a 2nd place and an 8th. So his best result so far has been a 2nd place this season. He's done that twice. So, but more or less, he's been there or thereabouts in the mid-pack. Never really put himself to the back of the pack. And then obviously we have your champion Ripper. Obviously no one can catch him now, but he has had a phenomenal season this season. He's won the most here this season. I don't think there's been any other driver bar De Silva, Mate Himovic and Overtaker and Ripper, the only ones who had won this season. So far this season, Ripper has had 8 wins. 8 wins to his name. We are now on around 15 and 16. So he's already 50% of his races that he's done this season, he has won. So that's an impressive stat to have on your CV, and he's been on the podium multiple races. I mean, he hasn't dropped off the podium since round 4 at Zolder, where he didn't score a single podium at all. Paul Ricard and Zolder were the only times he wasn't on the podium. Everywhere else he has been on the podium at least multiple times. He's been on the podium 12 times this season, so that's how great a season that Ripper has had. As we now go into the short qualifying session, so that I can get myself back in here. As we now look to Emplava, his season has not been the best of seasons. He's obviously missed a couple of rounds, and he's not been on the podium this season, but his best round was a 4th place, and probably his best round was Zolder or Silverstone, a 5th and a 9th at Silverstone, so that's probably his best round this season. But either way, he's not really enjoyed being in that. I think the Honda this season has really struggled to get it to work. Shane, he's had a fairly on and off season. He has had a podium this season. His best result was a 3rd at Zandvoort, so that was good to see from him, and that's probably his best round as well, a 3rd and a 5th that round. So he's been there or thereabouts at Zandvoort, but he's just been struggling on the pace otherwise in the Lexus. Green Wolfinator, on the other hand, he's had a fairly average and consistent season. His first time with Shane as well, both of these guys moving up from Pro-Am into Pro and learning how fast that these boys actually are, and it is a challenge for the pair of these two, and to be fair, they've done a very good job nonetheless. Wolfinator though is in that championship fight against Peaceful Explosion at the minute. He's sitting in 5th and he's only 2 points behind him, so he could get past Peaceful here tonight if he has a decent round. So keep an eye on how Wolfinator gets on. We then obviously look to, we've done Benno already, we can now have a look at Mate Himovic, the man who's currently sitting in 2nd in the championship. He has had 2 wins, and Zolder was his best round. Silverstone wasn't a bad one either, but Silverstone just shy of his best round at Zolder, and he's been on the podium multiple times this season. He's been on the podium 8 times as he's tried to bring himself in the championship. He has missed 2 rounds. He missed Spa and he missed Zandvoort, but we knew if he was at Zandvoort he would definitely had a better chance at that. But Mate Himovic would obviously look to try and focus, not maybe on next season, but the next season to come, because he has got possibly a lot of work in the next season as well. So we'll see what Matt gets on, but it's obviously about the championship for him. We then look to Gary 131, who's he's not really had the love for the Porsche this season. He just hasn't had the time to practice, not been able to turn up and really give it a good go. His best result was at Kyalami, was a 4th and a 5th. So he's been fantastic at Kyalami, but every single round I think he's just seemed to be struggling, doesn't have as much time in the car, and I think the races really hampered him. He has missed 2 rounds as well, so between him and Matt they've missed 2 rounds, so that's why they're in that position. Otherwise they would have been higher in the championship. And then we got Fury. He's managed to jump into the session as well, so Fury is currently sitting in the champion. He's done quite a few
10 seconds.
He's had quite a few retirements, so he would have been higher up in the championship. He had to lose 25 points for too many retirements, so he would have been in that peaceful Green Wolfinator fight. He's currently 6th in the championship, and right now, his best result on here telling me he has had 1 win, which was at Zandvoort, but it wasn't his best round because he did not finish that race either. So it's probably, looking at Brands Hatch was his best round, was a 4th and a 3rd, and he's been on the podium at least 4 times this season. So Fury with a relatively decent season, but he just needs to stop too many retirements and he will be able to score some decent points. Right, these guys are now getting themselves into a formation so that they can start the race, and it will be Benno who will start on pole position. So where is Benno? There he is. It'll be Benno on pole position ahead of Gary 131, and then it will be Shane. So we got Gary, then we got Shane, then we should have M Brava, which we do, and then Overtaker just behind him. Where is Overtaker? He'll be coming into the corner momentarily, and he is. He should have then Fury behind him. So Overtaker needs to go ahead of Fury, which he hasn't done so yet. So Fury needs to drop down 1 place, as we have Green Wolfinator then behind Fury, which Wolfinator is there at the minute. Peaceful Explosion will then be behind Wolfinator, and then it will be Matahimovic and Ripper bringing up the rear. Right, that is that. We're about to go racing here at Laguna Seca. We will now get a poll out for race 1 winner. So we will do the top couple of guys. It's looking like a good fight between possibly Gary and Benno for the lead of the race. It depends if Gary can get a decent start. But what can Overtake do? He's in a very good position, fastest in practice as well. Can he work his way up the order? Or can Fury do something in the Lexus? Who knows? But get your votes in now, as there's been a poll been put up. But what can Ripper do? He's won on multiple races from the back of the pack. Can he do it again? That is the question. But we're looking at the guys at the front. Benno can now start building up the pace to go a little bit quicker. He is trying to back the pack up, as now we are in the correct order and we are ready to go racing here at Laguna Seca. Guys, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to be notified, so you don't miss a single thing at Simplay Motorsport. As we are about to go racing here, as they now come into the final sector, Benno is going to start us off here tonight. It is Benno on the front row with Gary 131 in the Porsche 911. Who's going to come out on top with the penultimate round of the season? If you haven't done so, please hit that like button, because it really does help us out here at Simplay Motorsport. As they now come into the final corner here, get your votes in, as Hypertech in the chat. Good luck, guys, and good support from the guys, as we've got a few people now getting some votes in. Benno as well. And if you think somebody else on the grid is going to win this race, then please drop a message in the chat so I can see how we do in chat. It's quite quiet at the minute, Hypertech, but we should be ready to go racing here for the penultimate round of the season. We're here in America, Laguna Seca. Bentley versus Porsche as they come towards the line. Who is going to get the best start? The race is now initialized. We're coming to the start line. Who's going to get the best jump? And we are green here at Laguna Seca. Gary's got the jump as they head towards turn 1. And Bravo looks like he's got a decent start as well. He's going to be sending it down to the inside of turn 1 as they then head into Andretti hairpin. But you can see there, Fury in the Lexus. He's looking racy and he's working his way to the inside. Benno's been pushed out wide and is dropping down the order. and it's now been done by Emperava and Fury, who's had a decent start there on the first lap, really pushing himself through the pack, as Matinovic has a relatively decent start himself as they all head towards turn 4. And they get racing here. Laguna Seca, we've got a couple of cars wide. That is Peaceful Explosion. He's had a moment. He's in the gravel and he drops to the back of the pack, but he hasn't got any damage. He's not dropped to the back. So it's Gary who leads the way from Emperava, from Fury, from Benno, from Peaceful, oh no, not Peaceful, sorry, Matinovic, then it's Shane, then it's Overtaker, Wolfinator, Ripper, and then Peaceful Explosion bringing up the rear. But it is the Porsche leading the way. Can the Porsche win again here tonight? That is the question as they head into the corkscrew. And there goes Gary and Bravo. Oh, as Fury has a slide. Who is that off? I think that is Overtaker, an orange car. That is Overtaker. He's had a moment at the corkscrew and he's got major damage to the front of his car, and he's going to drop himself right down the order. He's going to have to try and carry that for most of the race now. Matt, though, has had a relatively decent start. He's up to P4 as Gary exits turn 1, exits the final corner on lap 1, and he's got quite a healthy lead over Emperava at the minute. The Latvian versus the Englishman as Benno is into the pits. Why is Benno into the pits? Has he got a drive-through or something? As he's possibly got a little bit of damage. I'm not sure. He's come to a stop. But Benno in the pits. Gary's a bit loose on the exit of Andretti hairpin. He's now got the Honda of Emperava breathing down his neck. But not too far behind them is Fury in the Lexus. Meanwhile, Shane is holding his own with the fast boys behind him. Here comes Ripper, trying to rip his way through the pack, but he's going to obviously take some time to get past Shane, as Wolfinator's had a decent start, and you got Overtaker and Peaceful just struggling at the back of the pack. But Gary with a healthy lead over Emperava. They're starting to put away from Fury, who's just struggling to stick to the back of these guys, and Matinovic as well, just holding on to that 4th place position, just keeping the guys in reach. As you can see there, Ripper slowly working his way through the order. He's now done Shane, because Shane runs wide at the left kink, and he now drops behind Wolfinator and Ripper. Fury's had a great run through the corkscrew there, and he's now right on the rear wing of the Latvian of Emperava. Naris Bravins is trying to be holding off the ever so quick Joe, and Joe's really hustling the back of that Honda, and he's really looking to the outside to get the job done. He's going to get the undercut, but he makes contact with Emperava. He puts his foot down and carries on, and Emperava's been spun around. I don't think Emperava would be too happy about that one. He now drops behind majority of the pack, including the other Teletubby Motorsport driver of Shane. So Fury now causing contact with Emperava, spinning him around and losing out there. So at the minute it's a Jaeger Motorsport 1 and 3. They're really going to help themselves out. They're trying to catch Ripper, but Ripper is on the back of him. He's P4. But right now, Ripper is doing everything he possibly can to keep hold of this Constructors' Championship. So far, so good for Matt and Gary. Gary's probably having the best drive of his season so far, but he can't make any mistakes. As Fury's had a moment and has allowed Matt to get through, so Fury struggling in as Matt's gone round. Matt has made a mistake, as has Gary. 131. The Jaeger Motorsport boys have made a mistake. Gary's gone round, Matt has gone round, and everyone else comes flying through the pack. That's a lovely shot for the Jaeger Motorsport boys. As they get going, and it is now Fury versus Ripper for the lead. And wow, so Gary had that in the bag, and a little mistake, ran wide and touched the gravel, and off he goes. So now it's the Lexus of Fury leading the way ahead of Uik the Ripper, and he's currently sitting in that 2nd place. Wolfinator's had a great race. He's currently P3, minding his own business, has worked his way up the pack. Shane is now P4, while Emperava is sitting in P5. Peaceful Explosion slowly worked his way up to P6 after the chaos of other drivers. But Matinovic dropping down to 7th. 8th is Gary. 9th is Overtaker, and he's carrying that damage. Benno had to pit early, but we are not sure why Benno had to pit. But Ripper has not really ripped his way through the pack. It's just the others were too busy making mistakes. Now, what can he do of the Lexus of Fury? That is the question. Shane, meanwhile, is having quite a decent race. He's had a little wiggle through turn 2 there, as he's got Emperava in the Honda trying to hunt him down. And Emperava, obviously, a bit of gravel there from him. As we look up ahead, and Ripper has managed to get past Fury. Fury's going to try and send it into the left kink. He thought of it, but I thought better of it. And Ripper now leads this race. So me putting in the predictions for a race winner was completely useless, because Ripper has gone from last to first in no time. Sounds like a little bit of a lock-up, possibly from Fury there, but Ripper has ripped his way through the pack. He's up into first, and what can Fury do now is he's on the back of Ripper, but at the minute, Fury just looks a little bit twitchy, while Ripper is completely planted in that Audi. Meanwhile, just behind them, Wolfinator, he's under some pressure here. He's got Shane breathing down the back neck of him. These Lexuses are looking quite strong around here, as Emperava's also wanting to have a bit of action here. With only 10 cars here, everyone's going to score some decent points here. But right now, Peaceful Explosion, he's just a little bit off the back of these guys. Is Fury looking to make a move on Ripper? No, he's actually lost some time there. He's 9/10 off the back of Ripper. Is now Ripper now going to start turning up the wick and going a little bit faster? Wolfinator has a little bit of a better run through turn one. And then Andretti hairpin, but you can see there, Emperava is right on the rear wing of Shane. And Shane is really trying to hold back the Honda of Emperava right now. Peaceful Explosion slowly starting to bring that gap down to the fighting three in front of him. As they're too busy squabbling, he's going to be taking advantage from this and slowly creeping on the back of him. Wolfinator just lost a little bit of time there and is now starting to get caught by Shane once again. Meanwhile, Fury is not losing Ripper. Ripper is he was on 7/10. Fury's taken a lot and he's gone off. Fury's gone off. Has he gone into the wall? No, he's managed to avoid not hitting the wall. So Fury there getting away with that one, and he holds on to that second place position. Whoa, a little bit of a Larry moment there for Fury. He wouldn't want that, as Matt is still struggling to catch the guys in front. And I think Matt is just struggling with overall pace. Overtaker, meanwhile, has got front end damage and is really just trying to nurse that car until the pit window opens. But it is Ripper with quite a healthy lead now ahead of Fury in second place. In third is Wolfinator. He's now under pressure from Shane. Shane's looking to the outside as they head towards Andretti hairpin. He brakes later. Is he going to be brave around the outside? No, as he's opened the opportunity for Emperava to look down the inside. They make contact, and round goes Shane. Emperava gains out of that, as does Peaceful Explosion, as now Shane gets it spun round and through goes Matt, and surely Gary 131 will benefit from this as well. Oh, he's going to be close, but I think he should just get ahead of the Lexus. Yes, he does, as he heads into turn two. So Shane dropping down the order thanks to the contact of Emperava. Now Emperava allows Peaceful Explosion through, because Peaceful now has got an opportunity to outscore Matt Himovic here and Wolfinator. But Wolfinator up in that third place position. Fury's in second, so Fury's getting some decent points, but Ripper doing what he's been doing all season, ripping the track and disappearing and leaving the guys in the dust. As Wolfinator in third, he's now going to start having some pressure from the two Simplay Racing boys of Peaceful Explosion and Emperava, but with no cars behind him, he can take his time and relax and just take every corner as it goes. Gary's had a moment in the corkscrew, the rear end's gone, and into the wall he goes. Shane now gains up to that 8th place position, as you can see there, Gary struggling to get going, as Overtaker now goes onto the back of Gary. Has Gary managed to get it going? Yes, he has, but he has lost out to Overtaker. Meanwhile, Benno still at the back of the pack, and he's slowly, with these guys making so many mistakes, he's going to end up back with these guys. But Ripper with quite a healthy lead now, 5.3 ahead of Fury in that second place. Wolfinator in third, but he is starting to be caught by Peaceful Explosion. He has relatively good race pace here at Laguna Seca, and he's a big fan of the track anyway. So you can see there, Peaceful, you can see he's physically closer to Wolfinator. It's not going to be a moment of time until he's on the back of him. Emperava now just taking his time. Matt Himovic in P6, Shane up into P7 with Gary 131 getting past Overtaker, because Overtaker is carrying that heavy damage on the front of his car. The closest fight at the minute was Overtaker and Gary 131, but we know that Overtaker is carrying that damage. So realistically, it is just Gary going to start pulling away from Overtaker. Overtaker is just going to get himself into the pits so that he can repair that car and not lose too much time. Meanwhile, Peaceful has now started to catch on to the back of Green Wolfinator. They come through the final sector here. 1.2 was the gap as they went through the middle sector. And right now, Peaceful Explosion looking like the pit window has opened. None of these guys opt to pit. Will Matt, he likes an early pit stop. He thinks better of it and stays out. Peaceful though, towards the line he comes. Wolfinator crosses the line. What is the gap? It's 9/10 of a second. It's 9/10 back to Emplava as well. So not just Peaceful catching Wolfenator, he's actually pulling Emplava with him. Shane has opted to pit. Gary's had another moment, and into the pits comes Overtaker. And Overtaker gets the car stopped as Gary 1v1 opts to pit as well. Benno obviously still out as Overtaker struggled to get into the pit entry there and clips the tyre walls. We go back to the fight for third place. Wolfenator looks like he's struggling in the McLaren, and we said the McLaren this week has been struggling in all AM and Pro Am categories, and it doesn't look like a good car here at the minute. Wolfenator is struggling at the minute. Peaceful has got such an advantage here. We knew that the Honda was going to be a good round here. Louis Allen seems to have great pace in this car, but right now he's hustling the back of Wolfenator. As there you see, Wolfenator makes a slight mistake in the corkscrew, and around the outside goes Peaceful Explosion, and he gets that job done. And up another place, he is now on the podium position at the minute. Can he catch Fury? Fury's not a million miles away, and I think he's possibly struggling as we see Wolfenator and Emplava both pit. And Matahimovic opts to stay out because he knows obviously he might get the jump with those two in the pits together. So it's still Ripper leads the way. Fury's 9.3 behind with Peaceful Explosion in that P3 now. Shane comes out of the pits just ahead of his teammates. Gary also comes out of the pits. Overtaker with major damage, obviously taking a while to repair his car. But it is Ripper who leads the way with quite a healthy lead over Fury at the minute. So Ripper in the Audi has been very dominant this season. He's extending that gap to Fury right now, but Fury is slowly trying to keep himself in this podium position as it looks like he's coming onto the back of his teammate. But Peaceful Explosion in this Honda seems to have some decent pace here and is looking to try and catch Fury. Wolfenator has gone green. He should jump ahead of Emplava. Yes, he will. They will get going. Overtaker has got going again. He is back on track. And Benno's been into the pits as well. He's done his pit stop, and he will not go a lap. Well, he is a lap down at the minute, but a few of these guys are a lap down because Ripper hasn't done his pit stop. And into the final corner he comes, with Fury currently sitting in P2. He's running a little bit wider. Oh, Peaceful has a snap, and with that snap he opts to pits and get rid of those tyres. So a good choice there from him. Peaceful comes in with Matahimovic as well. So it's just your top two now who's still yet to pit, Ripper and Fury. And Ripper is just extending the gap ever so more as Ripper is leading. He's currently done a 24.9. His best is a 23.8. Fury at the minute, his last lap was a 26.0. So he's struggling at the minute in the Lexus, but he is still in that second place position. Regarding Peaceful though, his last lap was a 25.4 and he's done a 24.5. So Peaceful has got the pace in this Honda. Where's everybody else? At the minute, Wolfenator is under some pressure from Emplava at the minute. So can Emplava find a way past the green McLaren? Shane currently in P7, Gary P8. Overtaker is starting to try and catch Gary, but he's quite a bit far off of him. Benno sitting in P10 at the minute, but Peaceful and Matahimovic have got going, and Matt's gained quite a bit of time in the pits there. Peaceful's obviously going to get off the limiter first, as will Matt. Here comes Wolfenator and Emplava flying up towards Andretti hairpin. Obviously these guys are going to have to take a much slower line here. Peaceful, he runs a little bit wide there, but Matt gets it around. He's going to be quite close to Wolfenator. Wolfenator makes a mistake on the exit, as does Emplava. Now the problem is Matt is going to try and get tyre temperature and tyre pressure, as he's got a very fast McLaren and Honda coming up behind him, but Matt looks like he's managed to keep them behind as Ripper and Fury both stay out a little bit longer. Shane now stuck behind his teammate, but Matt just manages to jump Wolfenator and Emplava as they were too busy racing one another. But a very good pit stop from Matahimovic there. But again, it is Peaceful sitting in that P3 position at the minute with Matt in fourth now. Good recovery from him so far after he had a spin. But it's Emplava and Wolfenator. Emplava will want to clear the McLaren as Peaceful goes deep into the corkscrew, and they all get a little bit loose there as Matt not quite able to capitalise on Peaceful's mistake there. So it's Peaceful's tyres just struggling to get into that zone again. Is it now trying to get that Honda back in its happy place? That is the question. As now Matt is now starting to give him some big pressure into the final corner. As we got Ripper, who's about to come up and lap this gaggle of cars. He will probably opt to pit this lap. No, he's going to go a little bit longer again. But Fury now also on the back of his teammate. We go back to the leaders. Peaceful Exposure is still ahead of Matimovic, Wolfenayer and Emplava. So the top group here looking to fight for that third place, all staying out. As Fury now goes past Shane, he's looking to try and extend this stint as long as he possibly can, while these are all too busy squabbling. Oh, Matt has hit the curb. He's gone wide. That's now going to allow Wolfenator and Emplava through. Here they come. Wolfenator's gone through, as does Emplava. So all that hard work that Matt has done has become undone, and he now loses out to the two in front. But Emplava's run wide himself. This is going to open an opportunity for Matimovic to come onto the back of him. But Matt looking a little bit loose in this Bentley. He's struggling here. As we just hear a lock up from one of the cars as they head into the corkscrew. Very easy to lock up as the elevation changes kick in. And for Fury and Ripper, they're going to start looking to coming into the pits. As Peaceful now drop this gaggle of cars. It was Matt giving him some pressure, but it's now Matt on the back of these two. But Wolfenator at the minute doing a fantastic job of keeping the two behind him. But it's now Emplava who's got all the work to do. He has got Matimovic breathing down his neck. Matimovic looks to the inside but thinks better of it. Ripper has come into the pits. Will Fury? No, Fury is going to try and lead a lap here at Laguna Seca. So Fury now becomes your race leader, but he will have to pit next lap. He has to be in pit lane before the pit window closes. Oh, as Emplava has a wiggle on the exit of turn 2 as they swing into turn 3. This is where Matt clobbered the curb. He managed to avoid it this time as Peaceful Exposure is still ahead of this gaggle of cars. But it's a great little scrap between these three at the minute. So far everyone else on track. We do a quick running order. Fury's opted to stay out, so he now leads this race. Ripper is in the pits in second. Peaceful Explosion currently in P3 with Wolfenator ahead of this gaggle of cars of Emplava in 5th, Matt in 6th, with Shane sitting in that 7th place position. Gary's currently in 8th, with Overtaker slowly working his way on the back of Gary 121 in 9th, with Benno sitting in that 10th place position. Ripper is gone, and he's about to come to the exit of the pit lane. He is going to be released. And off he goes. He had a gap of 10 seconds. Now Peaceful Explosion now into the final corner. My question is to the guys in the chat now, who do you think it's going to be close between Matt? It's going to be close between Fury and Peaceful, I think. Obviously 10 seconds. Well, Fury might have just enough gap, I think, as Fury does opt to pit this lap. In he comes. He needs to get it stopped for the pit lane. And nicely done. So Peaceful at the minute is in going into sector 2 as Matt has got ahead of Emplava. So as Emplava had a moment, he has dropped behind the Bentley driver. So Wolfenator now trying to keep Matt behind him. So Wolfenator and Matt now find out as Matt's clobbered the curb once again. He's really struggling with this Bentley tonight. He doesn't looking like his comfortable self tonight. And he's now looking to try and find a way past the McLaren. That meant, oh, he looks a little bit squirrely going into the corkscrew there. But they have slowly caught onto the back of Peaceful here. So Peaceful's not a million miles away. Fury has gone green. Wolfenator is in the final corner. So Fury staying out a little bit longer may have helped him a little bit, but Ripper goes flying on through. Peaceful's in the final corner. So now, as you can see, Fury comes out of the pits. He's got quite a healthy gap over Peaceful, but it is still catchable. Jamie Brazier in the chat saying Ripper will have it just. I think it was more than just. Ripper is going into sector 2 while Fury is just a couple corners behind. So Fury's had a decent pit stop. He's run wide there. The pit window has closed. So Peaceful's had a couple of laps to get his tyres in the right window. Running wide like that is not going to help him. especially on his hunt to try and catch Fury. Now, Matt flashing Wolfinator right now, but Wolfinator obviously minding his own business. To be honest, with the way the mirrors are, especially on the PS4 version, you can't really actually see anyone flashing. But whatever it's done, it's put Wolfinator off ever so slightly, and Matt is now right on the rear wing again. And he's looking to try and make a run up to the corkscrew. Matt's going to try and force it as they break for the corkscrew, but he hasn't quite got the confidence. Wolfinator's gone deep and gone wide, and he's not going to keep the place. So Martinovic then gains another position after another mistake from another driver. So Emprava and Wolfinator both cracking under the pressure of the Bentley behind him. Next target for Matt is the Honda of Peaceful Explosion, but Peaceful is also trying to hunt down Fury, who's just in sight. So Ripper pretty much looking like he's got this in the bag unless he has a big moment somewhere. Fury in second, Peaceful sitting in third and trying to hunt him down. Matt Imovic in fourth now. Wolfinator not a million miles away from Matt, so can still capitalise on any mistakes from Matt. P6 is Emprava. He's 7.9 off the back of the two in front, with Shane currently sitting in that 7th place position. Gary has lost out to Overtaker, so Gary's had a mistake somewhere once again, and Overtaker is up in the 8th place position. And then Benno, the only one that is a lap down at the minute, and Ripper is long gone into the distance. So right now the closest fight is Matt and Wolfinator at the minute, but oh sorry, no, Peaceful Explosion has jumped ahead of Fury. The timetable was not updating quickly enough, and Peaceful has got ahead of Fury CBK, but here comes Fury to the outside of the corkscrew. You've got to be brave to go around the outside here at the corkscrew, and he's got to think better of it. Peaceful goes deep, goes wide, he keeps it on track. Fury goes back around the outside, and he gets the job done. So Peaceful just missing his braking zone there ever so slightly, and he momentarily was ahead of Fury, but he's now dropped back behind him. Matt's going to be loving this, seeing these two scrapping it, because he now can gain onto the back of him, as can Wolfinator. So really it's a scrap for the final few places on the podium, second and third, while Ripper is 13.2 ahead of the rest of the field. Ripper's got his own problems with Benno behind him. What if Benno didn't have to pit so early? That was the question, because he's looking very good at the minute and just sticking to the back of Ripper. But it is Fury still hanging in there for P2, with Peaceful Explosion sitting in that P3 position. Once again, Fury has a little wiggle. Wolfinator has just dropped off the back of Matt. Matt still not quite on the pace of these two in front of him. Fury runs wide. As Fury this time manages to stay ahead of Peaceful Explosion. Oh, as Peaceful's gone very wide. He's got very wide. He's messed that up completely. He's returned back on track, and Matt is going to get himself on the podium once again. So Peaceful Explosion makes some mistakes, and he now loses out to Matt Imovic. Matt has really been gifted these positions with people making mistakes here. So Matt now back up into P3. And P3, will he be able to get past Fury? That is the question. Ripper, meanwhile, comfortably out in front with 6 minutes still left to go. And Fury is in second place. He's got quite a healthy gap over Matinovic. Can he hold on to that podium position ahead of Peaceful Explosion? That is the question. Great scrap between these guys. It's been pretty much exciting between all these guys all night. Oh, Peaceful's gone round. He's made a big mistake. He's in the wall, and Peaceful Explosion possibly pushing a little bit too hard. He's lost out to Wolfinator. He's going to lose out maybe to his teammate, or has Emplava decided to lift and just hang into that position. So Peaceful Explosion will hang on to that 5th place position. But once again, Peaceful, another mistake, pushing possibly too hard, and the car can't handle it, and he drops down the order. So Matt is really the closest one to try and make a move on Fury, obviously the Emplava peaceful fight. Are they actually going to have a fight, or are they just going to sit station? That is the question. But Gary 131 down in 9th and not scoring decent for Jaeger Motorsport. This is really your only fight, Peaceful versus Emplava, the teammates, and I don't really think there's going to be a scrap here. So, Emplava trying to get the run on Peaceful Explosion. This could be interesting. Two teammates going at it, fighting it out for the final few points, as Emplava's actually got a decent run on Peaceful here. As they head into turn 1, and Peaceful taking a little bit more of a double apex line, and Emplava not opting to do so and has lost out ever so slightly. So Ripper still leading the way, Fury in second with a healthy gap of 4.3 over Matahimovic, with Green and Wolfenator sitting in 4th. Peaceful Exposure is still sitting in that 5th place position ahead of his teammate of Emplava, who's sitting in 6th. With Shane down in 7th. 8th is Overtaker, who's slowly just trying to probably tweak and change his setup and try and learn what's different about the car. Gary currently in 9th, and Benno obviously in that 10th place position. But once again, your champion for this season is showing why he is the champion, and it's just completely destroying the pack right now and way out in front. He's got it under control and no stresses whatsoever. Fury, where is he? He comes to the line now as 13.8 is the gap. So Fury did get the gap down, but in the pit stops, but it wasn't nearly enough. As you can see, the two Simplay Racing boys, the only two that are racing on track at the minute together. Guys, if you haven't done so, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss a single thing here at Simplay Racing, Motorsport, sorry. And obviously, sooner or later, we will be getting the sign-outs for next season. Obviously, we're coming to the end of the season, and it's definitely been an interesting season. Nice to see some new drivers, but we do want to fill the grid up as much as possible. So be ready with your sign-ups for next season, as we will be getting AM, Pro-Am and Pro all signed up, ready to go. And make sure you tune in on Sunday night as well, because the Porsche Super Cups will be returning back on track as they head to Silverstone for the next round of the season. Can Fury wrap the title up, or can me and Smokey Devil do anything about him at the minute? Because at the moment, Fury CBK is looking to be champion in the Porsche Super Cup, but he's got a lot of work to do here at the minute, as he's losing out to Ripper, who's way out in front. Also, if you haven't done so, then please scroll down and have a look at the description, because we have our fantastic sponsors down there. We have Audio Sport, manufacturers of Volkswagen Transporter T4 audio solutions and styling products, obviously not just the T4s but T5s as well, and other many great products. So have a look at their Facebook page down below as well. And also Design Manchester, producers of vinyl graphics, laser engraved gifts, mugs, printed clothing, and much more, including Simplay merchandise. So please have a look at that link also below. We are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, and if you want to be a part of the banter and talk to the guys in the Discord, all the drivers are in there, then have a look on the Discord as well. All sorts of chat goes on. We talk about anything and everything motorsport, from Le Mans to British touring cars, NASCAR, to even Formula 1 as well. So get yourself involved here at Simplay Motorsport, and also have a look at our Instagram as well, as we post as much as we possibly can on there. But once again, the Audi of Ripper, what a season he has had. Didn't start off in the best way. Paul Ricard, he was a little bit behind in pace, but he is leading the way at the minute. Quite a comfortable gap over Fury, 15.1, who's probably pushing a little bit too hard at the minute. And it's just... he's on the back of Benno, but Benno, obviously, he needs to get out of the way soon, because the blue flag rule is 3 corners, and there he goes. He moves out of the way of Fury and allows him to go through. So Fury now has a car between him and Matt, but I don't really think he's got a threat from Matt at the minute in P3. Wolfenator in P4 with Peaceful. Emplava's dropped behind Shane, so Emplava's had a big moment somewhere. Has he got damage to the front of his car? Doesn't look like he has. If he has, it's a little scrape by the looks of things. So he's had a moment. He's currently P7. He's got quite a gap to Overtaker, so really there's no real threat there. But once again, Ripper ripping up the track and coming into the corkscrew now. Can anybody stop this guy from winning? He's won multiple races this season, and yeah, he's just been untouchable. He won last time out in Silverstone. He got third. He's been on the podium pretty much since Brands Hatch. And Ripper coming into the final corner now. Round 15, your champion of this season continues winning once again. He wins the first race here tonight at Laguna Seca. Congratulations to Ripper. Into the final corner now comes Fury. He was the only real challenger for Ripper, but nonetheless, Fury with a fantastic P2. He'll be happy with that one. Fury comes home in second place. Matijevic seems relatively happy with that P3 on the podium. Benno will finish in 10th place. Wolfenator will finish in that 4th place position. As Peaceful Explosion looked like he had the pace, looked like he had the chance to take a podium, he will come home in 5th place. Shane, quiet race for him after the chaos of the first couple of laps, but he's going to come home for a solid P6, managing to pip Emplava at the end. So Shane crossing the home in P6 here at Laguna Seca, with Emplava finishing in 7th, and there's quite a gap back to Overtaker and Gary 131, who have still got to complete their laps. But it is Overtaker who exits the final corner, and he's going to finish in that 8th place position, and Gary 131 is going to come home in 9th. Not a lap down, luckily for him, so he will score some points here tonight, as will Benno in 10th place. And that is race 1 over and done with. And once again, it is this man in the pits. Ripper wins another race again here at Simplay Motorsport. Like I said, can anybody stop this man? That is the question. We will be back in a few moments time, as we will go into an interval now, and these guys will have a little bit of a rest. We might talk to Fury and Matt while they're trying to qualify, but make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you join us in a few moments time, where we'll be back for race 2 and the qualifying as well. So grab a drink, grab a coffee, and we will see you shortly.
Farting noises. Not live, are we?
Fuyo.
Oh. Flashy. I've just literally got back. Of course I had to do a stupid update.
23-4, not bad.
So, what did I miss? Where did you come, Fury?
Second.
Tidy. Who won?
Ripper. If I didn't keep making the mistakes, I think I would have fought him, but I kept clipping the curbs because I can't get this set up right.
Yay, I've got a ticket already!
Who?
Oh, have a look in a minute. I've just got back and I've got a ticket. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Don't tell me it's to do with me.
Tommy John.
Catching up, might be down.
This is fucking boring.
Hello.
Hi.
No, at least we can talk about Mazda 787B, yeah?
No. Just want to get this over and done with because there's
Same
fuck all
cars as
drivers.
shit.
There's
Yeah.
fuck all drivers. Bored out my fucking mind. But yeah, other than that, hi guys.
What's up?
Well done, Fury.
Cheers.
Car looked a bit twitchy, but well done. I mean, less
I ain't got a
twitch.
setup, so I've just changed things as best as well, I mean, I got in the session in the qualifying with 46 seconds left, so I couldn't really do much.
At least you got in and filled the grid up. Jesus fucking Christ.
Put it this way, if I didn't keep clipping the curbs, I would have probably had a better fight with Ripper.
Yeah, no, now you know not to touch curbs. They're fucking horrible, aren't they?
Who was it? Here's Boat Boy. Yeah, Lord.
Oi,
You fucking lucked into that, man.
oi. There was no look about that.
Yeah,
We may
mate,
have,
I
we,
caught.
no.
You're gonna love this.
Let me finish.
Oh.
I know you caught me and Gary Mike as a stream on Urge Laughing. A few beverages may have been consumed with the barbecue this evening. We aren't feeling in tip-top condition.
I don't care.
You don't sound in tip-top condition. You're drink driver, but how many have you had? Because you sound wasted.
A few. Not wasted, but we've had a few. We are feeling a little tipsy, so I am taking that one as a brilliant result. Top quality performance. No look about that. That was pure skill.
Right, but every car that you came up against, they dropped it on their own. You didn't actually
Did you
pass
not see? Do you know what the best thing was? I sat there and Gary went, right, 1-2 now, boy, after Fury went wide. And I went, yes, let's go then. And as I come round the corner, Gary went, oh, bollocks. And then I went, oh, bollocks, and we was both off. It was funny.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, do you know the funny bit? Do you know the funny bit?
It.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going in the highlights, that. Get on.
Jesus Christ. So you were at a barbecue, that's why you were late?
Yeah.
Nice. It's alright, don't worry, I managed to get hold of the highlights.
Sweet.
You fucking pisshead. This should be an interesting interview then.
Hey, Dan.
Hi.
How are we?
I'm okay.
Good to hear.
How are you?
Fan-dabby-dozy, my friend. Fan-dabby-dozy. Fury,
Yo.
how's the snake?
How do you know about that?
You told me last night.
You went and got a
yeah.
snake?
No.
Oh, no, I'm looking after a snake for a week.
Oh.
But my
was on
mum was
about-
like, nah, you won't touch it. And they were like, do you want to touch it? I'm like, hold
I
it.
was
I'm
on-
like, yeah, why
I was
not?
on about your penis, but...
Is that a
I'm
euphemism
not-
for something? How's the snake?
You both need to grow up, I swear.
Yeah. Grow up, Daniel.
Yeah.
And
all
you,
all I
you tipsy
said,
bastard.
all I said was that a euphemism for something. I didn't say anything. I just said, is that a euphemism for something?
Yeah, but growing up means getting old, and getting old was boring.
Boring. I agree with Kenny here.
I'm gutted I missed Gary's pirouette, but your pirouette, oh god, that was hilarious.
You know, best thing was Gary beached it, so as I rejoined, I nudged him and he got unstuck.
Do you know what I did?
What?
As you guys came back on track and I said, that'd be a lovely photo for the Jaeger Motorsport boys.
Yes!
Screenshot.
I heard you laughing.
Yeah, some of you were driving so bad.
Oh, it's horrendous. This track is terrible.
God, you are pissed, aren't you?
So,
Yeah, you are. You knobhead.
hi, Dan.
Oh my god, Peaceful Morphinator are level on points now. What the fuck?
You should have heard Mike.
Oh, he's bet he's kicking himself. He's got a pissed bloody
I've
driver.
Got Fury. I've got Fury. yes, and then he goes deep at course, so he's like, what a fucking idiot I am. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think he. No offense to Mike, but I don't think he would have held on for long because I was doing 23s at the end.
No, you wasn't. That's a lie.
I was doing 23-2.
No, you wasn't.
No,
That's a lie.
23-4s.
No, that's a lie.
How is that a lie?
43s, innit?
Are you spasticated?
Are you dumb?
Is it 23s?
Yes,
You're an
you-
idiot. Fucking Jesus
Wait,
Christ.
look at Peace right now, 23-8.
Baby twit. I thought it were 40s.
Oh, you idiot. Oh my god, we're going to do an interview with this fucking pisshead.
Absolute bombastic side.
Oh,
Flipping twit. Hey, Joe.
Bombastic side.
Joe, the shots are in the fridge, ready to go.
Why did Beth message me randomly earlier, by the way?
Because, you know, as you sent me a Snapchat going, you said something, and said something about, will Beth not be bothered? And I went, fuck what she thinks, and I replied to you.
Yeah.
That's why she texted you.
I was about to say, because I read her text, and I'm like...
Didn't get it,
think
yeah.
I texted her. Because I was supposed to reply back to her, but I never did. So I got too busy. After racing, I'm buying that TV online because I ain't waiting 10 to 28 days for them to get it into store, so I just order it.
Oh, did you not even get it?
No, because the one I was looking at, right, is out of stock apart from the display one.
Yeah, I remember you
And
saying
they
yesterday.
don't want to get rid of the display one, so I've got to wait. Well, I can order it online, but it'll either come from Bristol
Or China.
or fucking Gloucester.
Gloucester.
I said Gloucester. No,
Gloucester. Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Gloucester.
Oh, I've got a brand new combine harvester, and I'll give you the key.
Jesus Christ.
He's so pissed.
He's not pissed, he's just jolly.
Tipsy. I'm jolly. Thanks, Dan. Have a holly jolly Christmas.
I
It's
swear
the
to God,
best time.
if you do
By
that
the way,
interview, I will mute you.
I actually got annoyed about Christmas today, Dan. This is no joke. We went in Home Bargains, yeah? One aisle of Home Bargains full of Halloween shit. I'm like, what the fuck's this all about? It's nowhere near October yet. Goes on next aisle, Christmas stuff. I went, right, that takes the piss. This is how commercial Christmas is nowadays. This actually takes the biscuit. That it's August and there's Christmas stuff. I actually got pissed off about Christmas stuff, Dan. Are you proud of me?
No.
Oh. It's the best time of the year.
I feel like going.
Right, we're about to go live, so behave yourselves. Especially you, Matt. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Simplay Motorsport, as we've got race one over and done with, and we're about to get qualifying underway for the second race this evening. We do have two of the drivers on the podium here with us tonight, and after the results of the race just gone by in race one, Ripper obviously still the champion by quite a margin. Matinovic is slowly securing that position in P2. He's pulled away from Breeze in that P3 position. Wolfenator and Peaceful Explosion are now tied on points. They're only 5 behind Breeze as well, so it's now a fight between P3, between 4 drivers. But also, Fury with a great P2 as well has got himself back into that scrap as well. He's only a few points behind those guys as well, so Fury could have an opportunity to steal third away from Breeze right at the end of the season. Who knows what he could do there. Emprava is staying in P7 at the minute, but he's got Overtaker 1 point behind him. So Overtaker is going to try everything he possibly can to get back ahead of him. Nexus has dropped down to 9th, as has Killer Camel in 10th, with Shane slowly creeping onto the back of them in P11. Gary 131 is P12. He's only 2 points ahead of Benno in 13th place position. 14th is De Silva, 15th is Euro, 16th is T, 17th is Hitman, and 18th is David. 19th is F1 Billow. And I'm pleased to announce, as we go on board with the Ripper, that Killer Performance Motorsport are Constructors Champions here tonight. They've managed to do it in the first race, so congratulations to himself and Killer Camel as they both win the Constructors Championship here at Laguna Seca. It's still a scrap though for second place. Currently Simplay Racing and Jaeger Motorsport tied on points as they go into the second race here, with Teletubby Motorsport a little bit off the back of these guys at this precise stage, but nonetheless Fury and Shane still here scoring points and keeping them ahead of the guys behind him. JWB Esports Racing 2 in that 5th place, with Team 1 in 6th place, and Button Bashers Racing in 7th. Regarding manufacturers, it's McLaren, Bentley, Ferrari, Porsche, Lexus, Honda, Aston Martin, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Nissan, Retia, Lamborghini and Jaguar. We now talk to the 3rd and 2nd place man. We will start with the man in 3rd, and first things first, we will have to say that Matt is a little bit jolly, so we're not sure what is going to be happening here. But Matt, a race that you probably wasn't expecting to be on the podium for, but nonetheless you have managed to get a P3. The Bentley does look like a bit of a handful tonight, and regarding obviously a few drinks tonight, I think you'll be relatively happy to be on the podium.
I think the few drinks have helped me, Dan, if I'm going to be brutally honest with you. The Bentley, we said last night, me and you, that the McLaren seems a handful. Well, the Bentley tonight feels even worse. Whether that's a lack of test on my part through the end of the season and just doing other things outside of the racing, with the kids being off school and stuff and not having the time that I normally have in the day to test. Who knows? But look, good night, P3 on the podium. Yeah, holly jolly.
Obviously we go into race 2. You're tied on points with Simplay Racing, with Peaceful and Emperor both having a relatively good mid part of that race, and then they just both made mistakes, so yourself managed to gain from it. But obviously Gary's struggling as well though in the Porsche. What can you guys do? Are you now just focusing so much purely on securing that second in the championship? And obviously it looks like you pretty much secured second in the Drivers' Championship as well. Yeah,
look, me and Gary's come in with one hand tied behind our back this season, knowing the fact that we both missed races and we've both missed 2 weeks each. It's been an absolute kick in the teeth in terms of our championship, so we know we've had to come into this fighting a losing battle sort of thing. So the fact that I'm sat second in the Drivers is testament to how well I feel like I've performed this season. The fact we're fighting for second as a team is a testament to how well the team have performed. And you know, you can never count Jaeger Motorsport off, you can never count Gary 131 off. He's a fantastic driver, and he's been a cracking teammate. You know, we're 4 times Constructors Champions together, so it was never going to happen with the races we missed. But we fight against Simplay Racing now for P2. You know, it's kind of bittersweet, and damned if I do, damned if I don't, because obviously me and you were a part of the Simplay Racing stable, as is Fury. So, you know, we can take pride in the fact that Simplay Racing are running 2nd place at the minute and be proud. But at the same time, GT3's on Pro Night on Thursday night. It's me versus Simplay Racing. So I'd love Jaeger to get second, but it's great to see the Simplay Racing boys up there. It's hats off to Michael Plava, because, you know, I tipped it. I think I made it perfectly clear off air that I tipped Michael Plava to be 2 to fight relegation this year, and they've been fantastic in terms of staying up, and not only staying up but having a cracking season throughout the year.
Well, what can you do in race 2?
Well, it's going to be hard. I've made some changes that I feel like are working at the moment. We've not got the pace of Overtaker Benno and Ripper, but Overtaker and Benno had a poor race. I think best of the rest. If we can nick a podium, fantastic. If not, you know, 4th place is where I'm going to look to aim.
Well, best of luck in race 2, mate.
Cheers, boys. Well done, Fury, and well done, Ripper, on the podiums and the win. Fury, good lad.
So we now move on to your 2nd place man, Fury. Probably a 2nd place that you probably wasn't expecting. The Lexus, a little bit of a handful here, but you were saying you were struggling with the curbs as well. But nonetheless, you've got to be happy with the P2.
Yeah, the Lexus isn't feeling the best around there. It feels more like a twitchy boat on waves than anything else, but chuffed with the P2. Just a couple mistakes on the curbs. I feel like if I didn't make those mistakes, I would have been able to fight Ripper a bit harder for the race win, since I was doing about 23 buys consistently at the end.
Well, obviously, like you said, not a lot of practice in this car. Pretty much you turn up literally just as practice and qualifying ended. You now got to cross the line to set a lap time, which it was invalid. But nonetheless, you got to try and Take as much as you can in these reverse grids, and you look like you had a very good start to that race. Is it now just using this qualifying session, not just obviously as a qualifying session, but now as a quick test session, just to make right changes and tweaks so that the Lexus is running to kind of your driving style?
Yeah, it's a bit loose on the rear end, but obviously running late and not being able to test much this week, it's a bit of just change and go sort of thing, and pray that in the race it works. But I mean, considering I've not done much to this and running in the 23s, I'm quite proud of that.
Well, you're currently 13 points behind Peaceful and Green Wolfinator, who are both currently looking to try and jump Breeze, who's 5 points ahead of them. Is the goal now to try and get P3 in the championship, or is it more just take one race at a time and try and get some races, wins and podiums?
If I can get those points in this race and go into the last 2 rounds of the season hopefully tied with them, and then on the last round of the season just go hammer to the wall, then I'm going to try and take that 3rd position, because ACC not being my best game apart from obviously the Porsches, but GT3s are a whole different ball game than those cars. But if I can get P3, get the points, yeah, I'll be chuffed with that for the season.
And what can you do for race 2 here?
Well, hopefully if I can actually get a lap time in, just see where I qualify, see what times I can do in the race, figure out these twitchy problems, and just see if I can get another podium. Well,
nonetheless, mate, congratulations on the P2, and we'll see you possibly on the podium. If not, we'll see you at Porsche Super Cup.
Cheers, mate. Congratulations to Matt and Ripper.
As that's your 3rd and 2nd place man who've put on a decent lap time here so far. For Matt, he's currently sitting in P4 as Fury struggling to get a lap time on the board, but it was your champion who is on top of the table at the minute with a 122.7. Joining me in the commentary box now, we weren't sure if he was going to join us, is my good friend PN. PN, how are you, my friend? And you just missed a cracking first race. How's It was an entertaining one nonetheless, but it's nice to have you in the box with us for the 2nd one.
Yeah, I'll watch it back later and see what I missed. And yeah, busy with real life.
Yeah, a lot of us seem to be struggling with that at the minute. Obviously, different scenarios for different people, but nonetheless, Ripper setting the benchmark at the minute. We've not seen a 22 all week, and him and Benno are the first ones to do it, so some decent lap times here from these two. I'm not sure what happened to Benno in the first race. He had to pit relatively early. I'm not sure why, but nonetheless, these guys are looking relatively quick around here. But we have to mention Ripper. What a season he is having. He's gone out there and pretty much won 2/3 of this, 3/4 of this season.
It's a bit like De Silva last season, once it just came in and pretty much dominated. Oh, if only De Silva can made the whole season, it would have been completely different, I reckon.
Yeah, I think it would have been a very, very different story if he had been able to finish the entire season. But regarding drivers for those final positions, and obviously the constructors as well, obviously Killer Performance have won the title now. There's no way the others can catch it, but Simplay Racing and Jaeger Motorsport both level 1 points at the minute. It's going to be an interesting fight between these two towards the end. Matt seems to have the pace over the other two, but Gary obviously is just bringing him back, holding him back a little bit.
Yeah, he's also serving his qualifying ban.
He is indeed, but he will be at the back of the pack. He will be able to work his way through the order bit by bit. Fury still struggling to put a lap time on the board. He's running out of time to do so. The other interesting fight as well, obviously no Breeze here tonight. He's been sat in that P2 all season. And now he's missed tonight. He's now opened himself an opportunity that Peaceful Explosion, Green Wolfinator and Fury, possibly Emplava if he has an absolute stormer of a night, could all catch him in the championship. So missing one round at the worst time possible.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he makes Hungaro ring next week, won't it? Because it's not quite a good turnout tonight, looking at it, some cars.
It is not, but hopefully we will get a few guys back. Ben Nexus, who we all know, who commentates on a Pro-Am night, he should obviously be back as well, so that'll be 11. A few others missing tonight, maybe Killer Camel. Obviously he was unable to make it tonight due to, obviously, he's had a puncture on his way home and has completely destroyed the wheel apparently, so good repair work. Yeah.
Please post pictures of it in our Discord. Link in the description below.
Yeah, if you want to get involved in the Discord and you want to see what state Killer Camel's tyre actually is in, then head over to the Discord. Obviously, we're missing him, we're missing T, we're missing Euro, there's no Hitman, there's no David, so the guys who we want to see turn up each round aren't here, but sadly, we will have these 10 cars. It seems like Am is the most popular, and it seems to fade out towards the rest of the week as Ripper is still fastest of the session. Benno's just trying to find those little couple of tenths here and there, but I don't think he's going to do so. Matt is starting to find a little bit more pace, but I really think this is the best that Matt has got in him. He seems to be struggling with this Bentley here at Laguna Seca.
Well, it's not really a Bentley circuit, is it?
No, not really, but it's... You'd still think it's the best all-rounder, nonetheless.
Yeah. As I changed my camera set to camera set 2 because it's better than the corkscrew.
Well, Peaceful in the Honda looks like he's had some decent pace all night as well. So the Honda and the Audi, obviously, the Honda and the Audi look like the best cars around here. Obviously, a short wheelbase car, mid-engine. You know, it's low to the ground, relatively decent downforce. And obviously it can seem to run the curves a little bit better, especially in the corkscrew and everywhere else. Is that, do you think, why these two cars are looking the strongest here?
Possibly, and you need a nimble car here. I was surprised the McLaren was struggling, like in Am and Pro-Am, to be honest. Because it's like the favoured car. Literally.
Well, we do believe that the McLaren is quite a long wheelbase car. It's quite long, the downforce is quite high on it. So me and Matt come to the conclusion that we think because the car is bottoming out so much, especially through the corkscrew, a bit like what the Retia does everywhere, it's...
I don't think the Retia was bottoming out. I think the Retia was dragging its face on the floor, wasn't it?
I don't know, you lot can tell me. I just know I just raise the ride height as high as it dares, but either way it's not how the car should be ran, but nonetheless...
650S next season, yeah?
Sorry?
650S next season, yeah? The upper McLaren.
Well, I have been testing another car, and if I can worm my way back into Pro, you might see that on track instead.
Yeah, I know what you've been testing. I've seen.
Let's put it this way. It is on the track at the minute, so let's put it that way.
It's an auto union, yeah? 4 rings?
It's owned by...
VW?
It's owned by Volkswagen, let's just put it that way.
VW Audi Group? That be the one?
You'll have to see if I make it Pro. If not, the 650S might make an appearance in Pro-Am, but who knows what happened next season, as Ripper is the man who's at the top of the session. Benno, though, in the other Bentley.
Ripper improved, he's now 2 tenths faster than Benno.
So Ripper is a much faster than Benno. Benno's done for qualifying. He'll start second at the minute. Overtaker is on the lap time. Matt has found a little bit more time. So between Overtaker, Matt and Peaceful, it is relatively close between those guys at the minute, as Fury is also done. He's managed to get himself into 6th place. That's the best he could do. So Ripper is done. It is now down to Overtaker and Peaceful. What can these guys do? Shane, where's he? He's now in the final sector. What can he do from there? That is the question, as I think the top 4 is going to be tight between these guys. But Benno is the surprise for me in that Bentley. He looks very good in that Bentley.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed the Pro-Am last night in the Aston.
Ah, I'm glad.
I kind of wish I was in the V12 most of the season, to be honest. I might have been slow, but at least it was sounding good.
Overtaker did invalidate his lap time, so he will not be able to improve. So it is Ripper taking another pole position once again. That Audi has been phenomenal all season. As Overtaker crosses the line, obviously his lap time has been invalidated. So guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. So far, 75% of the votes have gone the way of Ripper. So I mean,
Not the vote against Ripper really, unless he has a mare. But I can't see that happening.
Actually, Fury, I was on about the Fury's granddad. I was talking about the Porsche. No, you're just going to have to wait and see. I mean, there's the Bentley, there's the Audi, there's the
We're
Porsche.
talking about the 2015 Audi, not the 2018.
Nah, we're talking about the Beetle that sat at the back. You know, I said Volkswagen, you know, so the Beetle
Well,
is...
if he played a Simcade game in a Group 3, you could use a Beetle.
To be fair, I probably would use it as well.
In Group 3, you do have VW in there, and you've got the choice of the Beetle or the Vision GT Golf. Ugh. I don't like Vision GT cars.
30 seconds.
Right, so these guys are making their last few changes and adjustments to the car. McLaren could have taken another pole position here, but they haven't done so. I think they're 2 away from their 50th. So can Overtaker do anything about the guys in front? That is the question. It's an all Volkswagen front row with Bentley and Audi on the front row. Guys, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. PN, we come to you. Who do you think is going to win this one?
Ripper. That's who I voted for in the poll.
I'm going to go the way of Benno. I think Benno has got some pace in that Bentley. He obviously couldn't show it in race 1 for some reason or not. He couldn't really show his true pace. But I think Ripper is not going to have it as easy as he thinks here. I think Benno has got something under his sleeve here, and he's going to try and give Ripper a hard time. Nonetheless, guys, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to be notified so you don't miss a single thing here at Simplay Motorsport. Join Matahimovic, aka Matthew Duffin, and PM Motorsport as they will bring you the action on Sunday night of Porsche Super Cup. Fury absolutely destroying the field at the minute. Can he win the title at Silverstone a round before the end of the season? That is the question. So make sure you tune in for that one. But nonetheless, we have got tonight's race, and also we have got the final week of racing for all the categories, not just Porsche Super Cup, but also for the GT3s. We are heading to the Hungaroring for AM, Pro-Am, and Pro. You'll see the Retia for the last time at the Hungaroring, and thank God for that, as it will make its retirement. As Pro-Am as well.
It's like joined the scrap pile, ends up with a V8 Aston and many other cars. That was
I think Kelly's Renault. I think Kelly's Renault was the source of the fire, so I think that's what started it all. But either way, make sure you tune in as well, because Pro-Am, there's still a hefty fight going on in Pro-Am for the championship there, so I think that's definitely going to be a one to watch on Wednesday. And obviously Thursday night will be the last race for the pros. It is going down to the wire for 3rd, 4th, 5th and 6th in the championship. Regarding the constructors though, it is done and dusted as Killer Performance Motorsport win the championship in the hands of Ripper and Killer Camel. But it is down to 2nd place. Who is it going to be? Simplay Racing, or is it going to be a Jaeger Motorsport? Peaceful Explosion and Emplava against Matahimovic and Gary 131. At the minute, Gary at the back of the pack for Jaeger Motorsport. Matt's towards the front, but he has got Peaceful and Emplava right behind him, who's going to come out on top of this one as they come into the final few corners. PN, it's going to be an interesting fight for these guys in the constructors, especially between Jaeger and Simplay, because we know what Matt and Mike are like.
Yeah, it might be handbags at dawn.
Handbags, especially in the parties, because they join the party as well. Only 10.
Now, yeah.
Yeah. Only 10 cars here, but they will still produce some great racing, some great entertainment. Ripper opts for the inside. Benno goes to the outside as we head into the 16th race of the season. It is your championship leader, your champion, who's going to lead us the way into the start of this race. The race has been initialized. We're about to go green here at Laguna Seca for the final time. It is Benno versus Ripper. Benno's had a fairly decent side. Gary 131's gone skating right and exit right. Off he goes as Benno's going to try and be later on the brakes and go round the outside of Ripper into turn 1. He will have the inside for turn 2 if he can keep his nose in there, and he does so. Overtaker is trying to defend off everybody else behind him as Benno is right there, but he's not quite close enough as the rest of the pack come feeding their way through. Gary 131 though managing to work his way through. The Peaceful has dropped behind Emplava. Emplava's had a decent start as they all try and negotiate turn 4, but it's Ripper, Benno, Overtaker, Matt, Emplava, Peaceful, Wolfinator, Fury, Shane, and then Gary 131. So Fury was the biggest loser out of that one as Shane runs a little bit wide. Now they all get into a groove.
Well, the Porsche 1 Pro-Am and the Porsche 1 Am.
And Plava's gone wide. The Porsche did win, as does Gary 131. You say about the Porsche, he's gone round and he's lost out to Shane as well. So Shane stays ahead of him, and then Plava drops down the order. Wolfinator now has lost out to Fury, so Fury's now gone through. And Matimovic is trying to force his old nemesis and rival Overtaker into a mistake. But it is Ripper who's leading the way, but Benno is right on his rear wing.
Has Benno won this season? Or has it all been pretty much Ripper? No, he's had a second, hasn't he, Benno?
Benno hasn't won a race yet this season. He's had 2 second places at Kyalami, and that was his best result. So Benno's still yet to win a race. Only 4 drivers, I think, have won this season. 5 drivers, sorry. 5 drivers. So De Silva, Ripper, Matt, Fury, and Overtaker are the only 5 drivers who have won this season. But Ripper has obviously won most of them. But right now he has got his hands full as Benno runs wide. But he's still right on the rear wing. There's Overtaker is now starting to become under some immense pressure from Matimovic. Matt's going to the outside of Overtaker. Overtaker is just going to start pushing him wide. Actually gives him the racing room. He gives him the respect as they head up towards the left-hand king. This is where Gary and Shane went off. They're going to try and go side by side. They do. Great racing from these two. And Overtaker just manages to hang on. Fury in the background's at a moment. Peaceful's dropped behind a few others as well. But Matt, is he going to have the run into the corkscrew? They're still side by side as they go through there. And Matt gets the P3.
That was some good racing by Matt and Overtaker then.
Yeah, shocked that these two managed to stay in the same piece of track and not crash into one another.
There's been a bit of history of that in the season.
Yeah, as indeed. Matt looking very twitchy on the rear though, as Fury now is under some immense pressure behind of Wolfinator. He's looking to the inside of the final corner. He is going to send it as well, and he just avoids making contact with Fury and allows him to stay in front. But God, that was some close racing there between those two, as Ripper is now starting to get into his groove and extend the gap to Benno, but Benno is right there with him.
Gary's within less than a second behind Shane, and Empalava's with him as well, who had a little pirouette, I believe.
So Emplava and Gary right now batting it out for the Simplay Racing and Jaeger Constructors fight at the minute. Peaceful Explosion nowhere near Matt at the minute, but Matt has got his own troubles fighting Overtaker as Benno once again gets within half a second of Ripper. He's right on the rear wing. Meanwhile, Overtaker is also trying to pressurise the Bentley of Matt. So there's fights up and down the grid. Fury has got himself ahead of Wolfinator. Oh, sorry, he stayed ahead of Wolfinator, and now he's just trying to keep him behind. But the McLaren seems a little bit better in this race too.
Yeah. A few tweaks of setup in short practice and qualifying.
Yeah, hopefully that would have helped their cars out a little bit. Fury is ahead of a Wolfinator. He's got a little bit of lag there. So we got Shane also not a million miles away from Peaceful Explosion, but he's too busy. Got Gary 131 and Emplava breathing down his neck. So wherever you look on the grid, there is fights going on. As you look back to the leaders, Benno's lost quite a bit of time in the final sector, so it seems like Benno has the pace in sector 1 and 2, but then loses it all in the final sector. Overtaker still struggling to stick with Matt at the minute. He's dropped further back. He's currently behind him, while we got Wolfinator trying to get back on the end of Fury, or Shane is still too busy trying to fight off Gary 131. Emplava, did Emplava just clip the wall there? He tried to look to the inside of Gary.
You don't want to do that too many times. Tracking, or worse.
or worse, break it. Shane's has a wobble there, and that's going to allow Gary to go down the inside. Is he going to get the job done? Yes, he is. And then he pushes Shane wide, and that is it. Shane has lost the position to Gary 131, so Gary moves up a place. Ripper, meanwhile, has still got Benno right behind him, only 7/10 behind him, so that's the closest fight at the front end. As Overtaker has lost a little bit of time to Matahimovic, as Wolfinator is also losing time to Fury. So it's all ebbing and flowing between the guys at the front, as Shane's looking like he's losing another position. Gary's off. Is he? He's well off, and he's just about to come back on track, and he manages to keep it facing the right way.
I think you went to go plough some fields then, in a Porsche. No, you need a Lamborghini tractor for that.
I think he needs a Honda.
Yeah, well, the grass looks a bit dead around here, so that's why the Hondas are staying on track.
I don't even think it's grass. I think it's just sand.
No, it is grass. There is grass around here, but it goes very brown.
Either way, Benno still pressurising the back of Ripper. Ripper's not having this one easy. Benno really looking for an opportunity to put Ripper off. Finally get his first win of the season, possibly, as those two go in towards Sector 2. Then you got the old rivalry between Matt and Overtaker. They're close to one another. Fury's now starting to extend that gap over Green Wolf and AS, and no real threat from there. Peaceful's extended the gap between the fight behind him, and Gary 131 has got himself back ahead of Emplava, who looks like he's had another moment as well. So the bottom three are changing more than anybody else, but they seem to be making more mistakes than anybody else.
Yeah, Palava's a long way off the back of Gary as well, and not really at speed yet either. So yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
but
possibly.
Soon be able to fix them 3 minutes until the pit window opens.
It's 3 minutes until the pit window. A look at Benno. They were on board with Benno, and he's right on the rear wing once again. He thought about pitting there, but he knew he would get caught out there. It's just a little bit too soon there, Benno. As he then come into the start-finish straight. Possibly, yeah, tossing 2 more laps until he can properly pit. As also Overtaker is caught back onto Matt. We're going to stick with the top 2 for a minute as they head into turn 1. The real best overtaking opportunity. And Benno not quite close enough, but Ripper's not at the best final sector where he seems to be stronger than Benno.
Yeah, it's through his sector 1 and 2, but yeah, Bentley looks really good. Well, Benno's.
Oh, Peaceful's had on the moment. He's now dropped to the back of the pack. So Peaceful Explosion, he is now in last place. So Simplay Racing boys are throwing this second place in the championship away, as Benno now is 3/10 behind Ripper, and he looked to make a move into turn 4. He's right on the rear wing of the Audi. Is Ripper struggling, or has Benno just found another gear in this Bentley?
Oh, I'll keep an eye on this as they head towards the corkscrew. Hell of a corner, the corkscrew is. Hell of a corner.
As Overtaker is still on the back of Matt, looking for an opportunity there. I think Benno's real best opportunity is either in the final corner or into turn 1. We'll see how they get on, as Overtaker also on the rear end of Matt. So Matt makes a mistake, then Overtaker is working his way through up into the podium positions. Oh, Benno's run wide!
Oh, hold it. There's a one bloke marker. Cheers, Benno.
He's managed to hold it, keep it together, but those tyres are going to be very hot. And they're going to be very dirty as well. So Ripper now pulls away from Benno. And that's 2.2 gap. So Benno really struggling here after a little bit of a wide moment there. So Matt and Overtaker would be enjoying to see that one happening. But Benno now has to do all that work.
Defending from Overtaker.
I think Matt's a bit busy not falling out of his chair. As
Well, I've got his stream up on my tablet, so I can see what that's doing.
He's probably concentrating very, very hard, as we are on board with the Gaming Welshman 5. If you want to follow his Twitch, then head over and search for his name, and you can see his race unfold at the minute. Also, Peaceful Explosion is possibly streaming on his YouTube account as well, so give him a like and subscribe also. And I'm thinking possibly Fury and Emplava also probably streaming as well. But Matt is the one who's under a little bit of pressure at the minute. He's got Overtaker right
off the road.
He has been off. He's losing his time here. He moves to the inside just in case there's contact made. Matt will get through. Overtaker goes deep. Seeing the Bentley there, and Overtaker has to straight line this corkscrew. And now Overtaker had to deal with one Bentley. He's now having to deal with 2. Oh, Benno has a twitch again.
Something wrong?
Something's not Yeah, something's not right about his car, is there?
No, well, has his pressures just gone way out of sync to what he wanted them? Has he got a ballooning tyre?
Possibly so, but Benno right now, he's looking very twitchy. The pit window has opened. Who's going to opt to pit straight away? We've got Shane and Gary both coming in straight away as they managed to both get it stopped. Peaceful Explosion and Emplava again having another problem. They've dropped further and further behind. Obviously these two now trying to decide whether or not if they want to pit early. Peaceful is in. Will Emplava follow through? Yes, he will. We go back to the top. Fury's had a moment in turn 3, but Matt now is starting to put away from Benno and Overtaker because Benno is trying to heavily defend from Overtaker. Something's not right about Benno's Bentley. Something has gone wrong. Is it the tyre pressures have just gone a little bit weird? That is the question.
Oh, Ripper's hint of a corkscrew. Check and see if they pit.
So as they come into the corkscrew, Matt looks like he's a little bit more... it's Ripper Overtaker has made a mistake. He's dropped it in the corkscrew. He's gone round. He's nailed it to get it going around. And back on track he goes. He's not going to lose out to Wolfenate, I don't think. Or is he beached?
Matt's in, Benno's in. Overtaker... no, Overtaker's going again.
So Wolfenator is going to get ahead of Overtaker here. So Matt and Benno both come into the pit straight away. So I think Benno's struggling with pressures possibly because that Bentley looks so good behind Ripper and now it's just completely gone dead somehow.
Yuri's jumped Overtaker is now in P2 as Shane's gone off trying to come out of the pit lane. Not going to lie, that pit lane was tight.
So Gary's come back out. He's ahead of Shane. So Shane's had a moment coming out. Peaceful has gained a little bit on Shane. So with Fury going out... Oh, excuse me. Sorry, with Shane going out a little bit... Fury going out longer. Is he giving himself another opportunity to try and jump the cars in front of him? Obviously, Matt's been dropped. Is Benno about to be dropped? Yes, he is. So Matt's had a very good pit stop. Benno is just coming up behind him. So hopefully Benno's tyre problems hopefully would have disappeared. Now it's the fight of the McLarens between Overtaker and Wolfenator as they now go into turn 4. And right now, Overtaker will want to be getting rid of Laguna Seca as quickly as possible.
I think Overtaker want to get rid of most of the season, doesn't he? Because of the weather we've had. A lot of races. Hungaro, they know it's meant to be blisteringly hot, I believe.
Shane's had a moment just before the corkscrew. He's had a big moment. He's now got himself going again, but he's obviously keeping himself in this fight by constantly going. As Peaceful Explosion looks like he's got front end damage, so as he made contact with Shane, who knows? As you can see here, the two McLarens still going at it, but Overtaker has pitted.
The question is, does he have damage from losing it or corkscrew? Underneath the car maybe, or suspension, hopping over the curb.
He might have had to make slight contact.
Shane's back in the pits. I think Shane would be glad to get out of Pro, would he?
I think he will be indeed.
I think Shane's probably...
But he's going to stay in there, that's the problem. He's staying in Pro. He's not in relegation, so he's going to end up staying in that category. So right now, there's only 3 drivers yet to pit. That is Ripper, Fury, and Wolfenator.
Yep. As keeping an eye on Ultica, as Ripper is in the pits.
So Benno is managed to jump Overtaker quite easily, as Gary's going to be close with Overtaker here. So Gary, minding his own business here, he's going to get past Overtaker. So Gary, minding his own business, has managed to jump Overtaker. So Overtaker is now Wolfenator possibly under some pressure then, or has Overtaker repaired the damage that he slightly tapped in the corkscrew? Who knows? But Ripper right now is in the pits. As Wolfenator carries on through. Fury once again carrying on with his strategy earlier on, as Overtaker will now exit the pit lane right in the path of Fury. And obviously when Fury gets close to him, he'll get obviously 3 chances, 3 corners to get out of Fury's way. But will Fury opt to pit? Obviously he's going to be stuck behind the back of overtaker now, so it might be an option to come into the pits and get some clean air. But at the minute, there's no real fights going on. All the drivers are spread out. Shane's obviously had another moment, so he's had to come back into the pits as Ripper is on his way out with Matt quite a bit away from Ripper.
Fury's off. Fury is off the road. Behind, probably got caught out behind Overtaker in the run up towards the corkscrew.
Yeah, but Wolfinator's not really close enough to Fury, so as Fury's had a twitch in the corkscrew as well, so his car is clearly not happy right now. Probably that one lap longer has really affected his car here, and he's gone off again. He's just trying to keep it under control here, and he's got to clearly pit this lap. He's struggling with tyres. He's in, and Fury is into the pits. He needs to get it slowed down now. Question is, will Wolfinator come in as well, as Ripper is extending his gap over Matahimovic in second, with Benno, who's not really catching Matt yet, but he's starting to slowly work his way onto his fellow Bentley driver.
Wolfie stays out.
Wolfinator opts to stay out one more lap, so this will give him a chance to lead the race. Hasn't done so tonight so far.
Don't get a point for leading the lap. It's a lot to keep an eye on.
God, imagine if we did that. The championship would look very different, wouldn't it? And
well, you only have to lead a lap for a point. Something broke.
Yeah, just a glass, but we'll ignore that. Fury's into the pits, and I think he's been struggling with those tyres, so it's probably the best time to come in. Matt's obviously going to jump him, as will Benno. Gary 131, as Fury's been dropped. Gary is not going to catch Fury. So Fury is in a solid P4, I would say, at the minute. But obviously, Wolfinator, when does he opt to pit? That is the question. And how quick is his pit stop going to be?
Well, 30 seconds, hopefully.
Some of these guys have learnt the art of getting the car stopped and turned off.
Fury! Oh, Fury. That's a no-no. You meant to return back to the...
So Wolfinator coming into the final sector. He's coming into the pits. So Wolfinator opting to get his pit stop out the way. Ripper has actually lost a little bit of time from Matt and Benno, so these two are actually starting to creep onto the Audi driver, but I think that's probably just Ripper trying to get his car into a decent stint. Fury having to escape the escape road down past the pit lane, so Fury might be asked to go into the showroom for that one, because you've been asked to go back to the pits if you possibly can. But we'll see on that one. Meanwhile, everyone else is just spread out, so your current order with Ripper crossing the line. He now retakes the lead with Matt losing out to Benno. So Benno has got ahead of Matahimovic. So Matt's had a moment somewhere, and he's now dropped behind Benno, who's now second in the race, with Matt in third. Wolfinator currently in P4, but we are keeping an eye on this fight between him and Fury, as Fury's into the final corner. Wolfinator's gone green. This might be close. No, Fury's got him covered. Fury will hang on to that fourth place position. Wolfinator is fifth. Or will he be? Because here comes Gary 131 around the outside. Gary has suddenly just found some life in the Porsche, and he is working his way down towards turn one, as Wolfinator will have the inside, but a much tighter and slower line, and Gary will have fifth place.
Not bad recovery by Gary. One of these got Keegs set up on the well, actually Keegs probably runs default, don't he?
Yeah, he probably just runs default and has a couple of tweaks. So yeah, so Gary 131 has jumped Wolfinator, and he's having a decent run here. He could possibly catch Fury before the end of the race. Closest fight. Oh, Benno's had a big moment. He's had a very big moment. He comes back on track and he drops back behind Matt once again. So the two Bentley drivers seem to be having their own little mistakes.
Oh, who else is off? Wolfie's off, I believe.
No, Gary.
Gary's off.
Gary did get ahead of Wolfinator. Now he's dropped behind Overtaker as well. So Gary 131 has made a mistake and goes a little bit deep through the corkscrew. So after a great recovery drive, he's dropped to the back.
Yeah.
So all that hard work has become undone. Now it's just the two Bentley drivers who are the closest fight on track at the minute. And it is Benno really pressuring the back of Matahimovic.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm not lost my train of thought. Oh, someone's dropped it again.
No, it's now closed.
Where to? It is the sector ahead, and I think that is Prava. He's had a moment. He's got the two Bentleys coming up behind him, racing as well, so he's got to stay to one side as Benno thought about attacking into the corkscrew, but thought better of it, and he's just going to have to stay behind them.
Yeah, as the battle of the Bentleys, the Bentley battle. I'm trying to think of a more interesting fun for them. The Bentley bullying. No, that was the team last season. Wasn't it? The Bentley bullies.
I don't think that's going very well, Pian. I don't think you're coming up with a good one at the minute. But either way, Benno in the Bentley.
I can think of a good one, but it's not stream friendly.
the Bentley Brawl. How about that?
Yeah.
The Bentley Brawl is between Matt and Benno right now. Benno looking to try and make a move on the Jaeger Motorsport Bentley in front of him, but he just can't seem to find a way through at the minute. Matt is just trying to tiptoe his way around here and keep in front of Benno. Benno has a twitch. Both of these Bentleys are looking a little bit twitchy. And if it wasn't for the rest of the cars behind him also looking twitchy, they probably would be under more pressure. But they've made the least amount of mistakes. And they are in this reason they're in this position. Overtaker has pulled away from Gary 131, so there's no real fight there. This is really your closest fight between the 55 and the 98 of Matahimovic and Benno. And Matt runs a little bit wide.
And Benno's back on him into the corkscrew. You got to be brave to overtake here. I think Alex Zanardi in IndyCar won you.
Well, you have to be brave, and also you have to have quite a significant car in front of the other one, I think, as well. So right now, Benno is really trying to find an opportunity, really force Matt into mistake. He thought about it in the final corner, but thought better of it. So now Benno has to think of another plan. He's had a very decent run out the final corner, but Matt seemed to just pull ever so slightly on him. But he is in the slipstream. Turn 1 is probably his best bet. He is close as he can possibly get. Maybe a little bit more and he'll think about it into turn 1, but he's really got to try and force Matt into a mistake here.
Yeah, he has. Question is, will Matt cave?
Oh, there's contact!
Benno's backed out of it.
Now, yeah, he's made it backed out of it. He's going to have slight damage to the front end, but Matt's going to have some rear hot tyres right now. And yeah, is he going to be able to keep that Bentley under control now? He's looking a bit cautious on the brakes at the minute just to make sure that his tyres cool down. But we're in the desert here. And, well, it looks like a desert, but it's not the best conditions for hot tyres, really. With the track temperature at 31 degrees, it's very easy to cook the tyres here. And right now, Matt is struggling right now with keeping Benno behind him. And obviously, while these two are too busy scrapping, Ripper is 11.4 down the road.
And just having a quiet Thursday night drive.
Like I said, can anybody stop him? That's the question. As Benno once again thinks about it in the final corner, he seems like he has more confidence there in the final sector, but he can't seem to do anything about it.
I think Gary's slowly catching Overtaker. Just looking through the time score.
He starts catching him and then he drops further behind. So it was it 3.5? It's now it's 4 seconds again. So he catches and then drops and makes a mistake. It's more Overtaker is catching Wolfenator more than anything right now. As we go back to the Bentley Brawl between Benno and Matt, and Benno once again right underneath Matt here, looking to try and make a move on him, but can't seem to find a way through.
We might a McLaren massacre or something like that for if Overtaker catches Wolfie.
Yeah, that sounds right. Massacre, the McLaren massacre.
McLaren master
Oh, no, Benno's had a big moment. He's in the wall. Oh, Benno with a snap. there. He just gets onto the curb, loses the rear end, and that is his chance of trying to take second away from Matt. Gone. And there you go. Matt has managed to hold on to the pressure, and he will hang on to that second place position. He's not going to catch Ripper unless Ripper has some almighty crash or ends up tripping over someone. I think Ripper has got this one in the bag and will extend his championship even more, as they will be heading to the Hungaroring for the next round of the season. The next fight to keep an eye on is Wolfenator being caught by Overtaker. Gary131 has had another big moment, and he's now dropped further back behind Overtaker. He was only 3 seconds behind him. He's now 12 seconds as he will come to the split.
As Wolfie just put a lap in over on Shane.
And Shane once again just drops right out of the way of this the McLaren massacre, and tries to allow the two McLaren boys to go at it fair and square. Meanwhile, Matt has got his pretty much covered unless he makes a mistake as well. He's got second at the minute, but Benno sitting in that third place. Fury in fourth. He's not able really to catch Benno at the minute, and I don't think Benno's got significant damage to lose that much time towards the end of this race, but Fury will be happy nonetheless with a P4. But Wolfenator now, can he keep Overtaker, the man who's been probably the best in the McLaren? Obviously, we'd lost De Silva earlier on in the season. Then it's really been Overtaker who's been on the pace in this McLaren. Breeze has been the most consistent all season and making most of the races. Obviously, sadly, not able to race tonight. He wasn't able to continue that streak of being the best McLaren driver. But at the minute, Overtaker is hustling the back of Wolfenator. And while this is all going on, this is all helping out Fury in the championship to try and get himself in that third place position.
Overtaker thought her having a look on the outside of Wolfie into the corkscrew. Interesting line by Wolfie. It had to be a warning. He was on the green. Fully on the green. I know I got one there last night.
Or Overtaker is right on the rear wing of the other McLaren. He's thinking about it in the final corner, but think better of it as they go into the final corner. Can he get the better exit? As you can see there, Wolfenator has a twitch. Emprava gets right out of the way really quickly, and Shane is coming up behind him. Are they on the same lap? I don't think they are.
There's a lap between.
There is a lap between us. So Shane's not even going to get himself to have a proper scrap with Emplava. But right now, Overtaker really hustling the back of Wolfenator now. As Ripper, once again, just minding his own business, pulling away, not really stressing about too much, as Overtaker and Wolfenator continue fighting.
Wolfie's defending.
Wolfenator does look like he's got a little bit wide, and Overtaker just slingshot shit into the corner, and he gets the job done. So Overtaker up to another position there, and Wolfenator just drops behind him. But nonetheless, that was a good little scrap for a little bit of time. Can Wolfenator stick with him? Because Overtaker has been struggling in the corkscrew. Is he going to try and get him towards the end of this race here?
Yeah. Tell you what, camera set 2 is much better for the corkscrew. You can actually see him coming down the hill. I've got camera set 1, which I don't know what that cameraman's doing.
Oh, there is a car off. I think it's Shane. Yeah, Shane's gone off. He's got to go in again. He's allowed Gary to go through without any issues. So Wolfenator is now going to start losing time to Overtaker, I think. And I think this is pretty much going to be the end of the race, as Ripper is now coming his way up towards the corkscrew. Your champion for this season, and now Constructors champion as well. He could take a week off now at Hungaroring. He doesn't need to turn up. He don't need to do nothing. So
we need him to turn up, because if we don't have enough event like this,
he can have an early time off this season, because he's gone off. And can he really finish the season off with a very good end? Can he continue winning and being on the podium? Like I said, he's had so many podiums this season. He's now exiting the final corner to start his final lap here at Laguna Seca. It's been a quiet week this week at Laguna. Am was the most amount of drivers that we had here, and either way, it's been, no matter what's been going on, it's been some great racing. And obviously, PN, we come to you because you've only been here for this second race. Just based on the driving tonight, who would you look towards as driver of the day tonight? Oh, Gary's. Sorry.
You can't put it past Ripper. He's just flawless, nearly, isn't he? So smooth. I might have to watch him when he's practicing and get some hints and tips.
Is it possibly the car he's driving? Is it the Audi that's what really is helping him? I mean, not a lot of people had chose the Audi last season, but him and Nexus obviously driving it this season, as does T. It's really made a stomp here, hasn't it? The Audi's proven itself to be a very good car.
Yeah, watch next season. Most people sign up in the Audi, won't they?
Probably. That's probably what we'll end up seeing. You know, we go from the McLaren show to the Audi show. But
and they'll do himself lap, do B lap one more time, so he doesn't have to finish. It's Overtaker, not Overtaker. The
Ripper.
That's finished already.
Ripper comes across the line and wins the race once again here. A complete flawless race from him. Matt Imovic, though, he's going to come around the final corner and get himself a second place. He gets a third, and now he gets a second. So Matt Imovic will cross the line in second. Benno is going to come home in that third place position. Could have been more, I think, from him. I think he probably would have expected more here tonight, but nonetheless, a solid P3 for him. Fury now going to exit the final corner. Good race one to get himself a second place, but he's going to finish the night off with a fourth, so he'll be relatively happy with that one. Overtaker could have done more in this race as well, I think, as he's just too many little mistakes, especially in the early part of the race. He's going to finish in that fifth place as Green Wolfenator come home in sixth. Gary 131, a good recovery drive to finish himself up into P7, and Palmer's already finished in P9. Peaceful Exposure crosses line in 8th. It's all a little bit confusing because the cars finishing in different stages. So Gary crosses line in 7th, and it's going to be Shane to finish in P10. That has been Pro tonight, and once again...
I just looked at the poll and you spelled Ripper wrong.
No, that's a capital I. That's a capital I. So he's actually... the Ripper.
Jamie in the chat, make it a Retia show now instead.
Should we tell Should we tell all Pro that they can't race in their normal cars? It's got to be a Retia race for the final round at Hungaroring.
Yeah, Retia or Jag.
No, just Retia, just one car, and let's see who can do the best out of it. And I'm not sure if Benno is able to join us in the commentary box. I'm going to we will see if he will join us, but he is invited into the party if he wants to join us. And I believe Matt has probably updated the tables because he's good like that. So let's have a look at the tables, and it's definitely going to be interesting for the final race of the season. Well, according to this stat, the Jaeger Motorsport are still in the fight, but I don't understand that one. But we go, obviously, and finish this final race tonight. And regarding the championship, it looks like this. Ripper is still obviously champion and got quite a hefty gap over Matimovic in second. And I'm pretty sure he's pretty much secured that now. With a Green Wolfenator in P3 now, with Peaceful Exposure 2 points behind him. Fury, though, he's only another 9 points behind Wolfenator. So between those guys, it's going to be close. And then it's 10 points to Breeze. So between those four, for the final third place position for the championship, is going to be very, very tight. Overtaker is currently in 7th. He's now jumped ahead of Emplava. Nexus has dropped down to 9th. The Killer Camel down in 10th. But he's now level on points with Shane, who's just ahead of Benno in 12th. Gary 131 in 13th. De Silva is in 14th. Euro 15th. 16th is T. 17th is Hitman. And 18th is David. F1 Billow in 19th. Killer Performance Motorsport has won the Constructors' Championship. They are now ahead of Jaeger Motorsport, who are just ahead of Simplay Racing. They've now dropped down to P3. We Teletubby Motorsport, they're not a million miles away, but I don't think they can really give it a good go towards the end of the race. Unless both of them have a fantastic round, it's going to be a lot of work for them to do. Regarding the other teams, it's relatively spread out, with P5 with JWB Esports Racing 2 ahead of the number 1 team, and with Button Bashing Racing in P4. 7. Bentley is lost out to McLaren this season. McLaren are your champions, with Ferrari sitting in 3rd, Porsche 4th, Lexus in 5th, Honda in 6th, 7th is Audi, 8th is Aston Martin, 9th is BMW, 10th is Mercedes, 11th is Nissan, 12th is the Retia, 13th is Lamborghini, and Jaguar in that 14th place position. At the minute, we have only got Matt in the chat.
Boy.
Another podium, mate. P2. Once again, Ripper far off into the distance, but you did have to work for it against Benno there towards the end of that race.
I enjoyed that. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I thought it was a good fight. I bounced off the sausage curb, looked like Tigger, and then he looked like Tigger as he bounced off another sausage curb, and then it was a good fight to the end. A few touring car tactics in there, obviously, but he had a wiggle at the end. It was a shame. There was a bit of a tap. He let me keep the place. So fair play to him. No hard feelings about that one. I enjoyed it. Do you know what, Dan? I said to you last night, I think I said, I'm happy with the setup. It feels all right for me. I'm not going to get another win this season, and I said I probably won't get a podium this season. So to come away with 2 podiums, I will bite your hand off at that one.
Obviously, we then go. You've now overtaken Simplay Racing in that race. You now head to Hungaroring with, I wouldn't say a healthy lead, but definitely a better position going into Hungaroring. Gary seems to be struggling in the Porsche. Is it just really try and do as best as you can as we go into the final race, or is it more of a just grin and bear it and see what happens?
It's a 12-point gap. The difference now is, I think for the first time this season, that me and Gary now have that upper hand in the Constructors' Championship. So we now know we can be a bit more defensive and a bit more cautionary on what we have to do. Mike and Plava have got to chase us, and we know when Mike and Plava start to trace and push, mistakes creep into their game. So, look, Mike's up for 3rd in the championship. Good for him. Simplay Racing want to try and chase me and Gary for 2nd in the Constructors. Great for them. But I think me and Gary have got the upper hand here. I won the small 6-race season we did a couple of years ago. I won at Hungary. Probably won't happen again, but with the likes of Emo Guy, Boss Soft at the time, Mazda, Gavlar on the grid, quick drivers themselves, I fancy my chances next week at being able to at least outscore Simplay Racing. Not necessarily take the win, because Mazda's no ripper.
No, not indeed. Obviously, we do, you've already said the Hungaroring, but nonetheless, you've got to be relatively happy with tonight. And as well, I think we're going into the final race this season. Obviously, the championship is done and dusted, not just obviously for the drivers, but obviously the constructors. Yeah. But in your words, obviously this season you've only missed 2 races, but the level of driving has properly stepped up with the likes of Ripper and others turning up.
It's been immense. And do you know what? This is where I tip my hat to people like Wolfenate, who got promoted from Pro-Am last season. We saw him in Pro-Am losing out to Argent and Shane and Holty at times last season, and didn't look like, he was always on that 3rd sort of place. He was a bit of a smoky devil from Project Cos too. 3rd place quite a lot, while Holty and Shane took the wins. So hats off to Wolfenate, hats off to Peaceful, because he's really had to step his game up this season. All right, all the drivers have missed, but you've got to be in it to win it. You know what I mean? And Peaceful's done the job. So has Plava. I tipped Peaceful, Plava and Shane to get relegated this season. So fair play to the 3 of them for doing well. And I think they've been pushed by the fact of Overtaker, De Silva early doors, Ripper, myself. Fury seems to have come on. Breeze looks like a better driver in that McLaren than he did in the Porsche. Nexus and Camel have been strong. Benno, when he's been here, has been a fantastic driver to race with. So I think everybody's up their level. And I think if you get promoted from Pro-Am now, it's harder to stay in this division.
Yeah, definitely. So I would like to be involved in that scrap fight, but we got to see what happens and what the admin decide to do in that sense. But nonetheless,
while we're live, let me just put this out there for anybody who's viewing. If anybody would like to stream, broadcast, or commentate on the Pro Series, please get in touch on the Discord. There is a job application form on there. Please get involved. We need commentators. We are crying out for commentators, because then PN has someone to work with on that Thursday night. We know PN sometimes struggle to do it on his own, so PN needs that support on doing it on a Thursday night. For me and Dan to be able to race pro, we don't want to drop out and pull out of races, but at the same time we don't want people to be commentating on their own. We want that support. So if anybody fancies their hand at streaming, commentating, whether it's co-commentating, there's a job application in the Discord. Fill it out. Get involved here at Simplay Motorsport, ready for Season 3. Let's absolutely smash it. Get him in, because then you get an extra driver such as Dan, and the calibre of Dan as a 6-time champion on that grid adds to the strength of it. And it is no joke, the fact that Dan, Ripper, myself, Overtaker, if we was there for the full seasons, it would be remarkable. So please get involved.
It would indeed, and more importantly, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and get involved as well. The Discord link is below. But nonetheless, congratulations to Matt on his P2. Well done to Benno on P3, and also Ripper for winning as well. PN, obviously you've already said for Ripper, but a quick roundup of the one race that you saw this evening.
Yeah, it was a nice domination by Ripper. Really, never really any doubt him losing it, because Benno made unfortunate mistakes. But Bentley still seems to be a bit of a boat around here, and in the desert you don't need a boat.
No, you don't. But either way, you've gone the way of Ripper for your driver of the day. I will also go Ripper. He has been unstoppable here tonight at Laguna Seca. That is it here at Laguna Seca. We will be live next time on Sunday as the Porsche Super Cup will return. They are heading to Silverstone for the penultimate round of their season, as they will be racing there for Fury to try and defend off myself and Smoky Devil. Can he win the championship at Silverstone? That is the question. Make sure you're live here, whereas Matahimovic and PN will give you all the action there. But then it's the final week for all championships. We head towards the Hungaroring in Hungary for the final round of the races this season, and there's all sorts of fights still going on in the championship. Has still got a fight between Emo Guy, Jay and Tech Leader. They're going to go down to the wire in that championship. Also in Pro-Am, it's between Louis Allen, Tibbs, Sekulovic and Smoky Devil. They're all still mathematically in it, who is going to come out on top. But regarding the Pro, it's all done and dusted. But who's going to finish in that P3 position? Wolfinator, Peaceful, Fury, Breeze and possibly Overtaker. Who knows? It could go anyone's way. I've been Dan Davis. PN's been joining me here tonight as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in Sunday night as the Porsches will return back on track. But from all of us here at Simplay Motorsport, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell to be notified, and we will see you on Sunday night. Good night.
Good night.
Done. Oh my god, that was painful.